Late yesterday, out of courtesy, Australian officials in Canberra, Beijing and at the World Trade Organisation in Geneva advised their Chinese counterparts of Australia's intention to request formal consultations with China in relation to the application of anti-dumping and countervailing duties against the Australian barley industry. We will make those formal requests through the WTO tonight. We've applied at every step of this journey all of the appropriate processes, procedures and courtesies to the manner in which Australia and Australian industries have engaged with the Chinese government and their Chinese counterparts. This is the logical and appropriate next step for Australia to take. We have been a long-standing defender of the international rules-based system, of the importance of multilateral cooperation and engagement. And in doing so, it's appropriate that when we argue for there to be international rules and an independent international umpire to resolve disputes, that when we find ourselves in the case of having such disputes, we call in the umpire and we ask the independent umpire to adjudicate and ultimately to help to settle those disputes. This is not the first time, even in my stint as Australia's Trade Minister, that we've taken such action. Australia has a current dispute with India in relation to the sugar industry. We have had a dispute with Canada in relation to the wine industry, which importantly we have ultimately resolved without having to use all of the WTO processes. So in initiating this dispute with China in relation to the barley industry, we again extend the important offer of dialogue and discussion as an off-road, an off-ramp in relation to this dispute. We've done it with Canada in relation to wine. We can do it with China in relation to barley if both parties are willing to come to the table and sit down and work through the relevant issues in that regard. WTO dispute resolution processes are not perfect. They take longer than would be ideal, but ultimately it is the right avenue for Australia to take at this point in time. We, along with many other countries, use these processes in the right and orderly way, and Australian industry should see this as being about Australia defending the values, operation and interests of Australian producers, but doing so in a calm, methodical and careful manner. We've taken this step following extensive consultation with Australian industry, and I thank them for their engagement throughout recent months, and indeed in relation to the grains industry and the barley sector in particular, for their cooperation over the preceding couple of years since China first initiated investigations into this sector, and as we have sought to work with them in their defence at every step of the way. We are highly confident that based on the evidence, data and analysis we have put together already, Australia has an incredibly strong case to mount in relation to defending the integrity and propriety of our grain growers and barley producers. We have full confidence that they are not unduly subsidised, that they do not dump their product into global markets, and that they have operated with nothing but commercial imperatives in relation to the way they have engaged in the China market, providing their Chinese customers over a sustained period of time with a high quality, value for money, market-oriented proposition in relation to Australian barley, and those are exactly the factors underpinned by evidence that we will take through the WTO processes in relation to defending the integrity of our farmers and grain growers and making sure that their rights are upheld through the global trading system.